Hello everyone. Welcome to this webinar. So my name is Sindhu, working as an application engineer for SolidWorks PCB and electrical suite of products. Let's get started as we have 30 minutes. And with that, I'm gonna start with the first poll question. So I think now you are able to view the poll question. So in another 30 seconds, you have time to answer. So it's about how you or does your company manage electronics and PCB design files and data. So just answer to the options or the options which are given. That is, if it's a file management system or folders on local hard drive or a shared network, SolidWorks PDM or others. Most of you have answered it. So I'll just close the poll. So let's have a quick review on the answers. To see or to look at the poll answers, I think most of you have answered polls on a local drive or shared network. And that is 60% of you have answered that. 20% have answered SolidWorks PDM. I like that answer as well. And then others is the other answer which I can see it. So I'll just launch the next poll question. If you or your company has a track of PCB designs, how do you do the file revisioning? How do you know that where that particular file is used, and how do you know about the library update? So if your answers is as listed below, just check or click on the answers which you feel appropriate for your designs. So that is email or written paper trials or file management system, or if you are using a Google or a Microsoft Office documents, or if you are using all of the above or none of the above, please share your answers. So I'll close the poll. So to have a quick review on what all your answers are, I think most of you have answered it to be a file management system, and few of you have answered the shared Google or Microsoft Office documents. So, okay, as we all know, most of you are using the normal or the file management system. So let's see how SolidWorks will help to get the designs done. So to begin with, first we'll touch on a topic that many of us in electronics and PCB design community struggle with. That is design and data management. And from the poll questions, even though I expected more to answer that they just use shared or network drives within the organization, I'm hoping by the end of this webinar, I think you'll all be pleasantly surprised with the integration in the workflow with around SolidWorks PDM data management, and the fact that not only can't manage your company's mechanical data, but it can seamlessly and effectively manage your company's electronics and PCB data as well. So I'm going to take just few minutes to set the stage with little background around our experiences we have had with the SolidWorks customers who are designing this electronic products, and the challenges they face with managing all the files and the ECAD data around their electronics and PCB design. And then we'll see how electronics and PCB designers are already benefiting from this workflow in this integration that was created. Let's go ahead and get started with how companies choose to deal with electronics and PCB design and data management tends to be as various as the company themselves. But most tend to fall into a couple of general categories, either manual file data management or some of the commercial or freeware data management system. The methodology we typically tend to encounter SolidWorks customers who are designing electronic products is the manual methodology. As we saw from the poll questions, I think you're all saving the design files and their data to be shared network drive, and while both have their pros and cons, most people tend to choose the one which has the most cons, correct? So that the manual file management using a shared or a network drive mainly because of the earliest or the easiest, it's available on every single computer, and it requires virtually no setup or maintenance. But it also presents the biggest challenges to effectively manage design data, the potential for massive duplication data that always exists. There's a virtually no formal release processes, like no versioning, no tracking of any kind, and it's cumbersome if not possible to share and coordinate with multiple teams. Also, so that means that the having a good commercial software data management system is the answer. Well, if it's all just PCB, of course it is, but maybe for all the ways that are proper, data management system appears to be better, something like subversioning or get any other kind of freeway data management system out there. Get any kind of freeware data management out there. Both have a one critical flaws from a company in a product design team of view is that they both exist separately, that is isolated from the mechanical side of the product design team role, and most importantly from the rest of the company. So it's like there is they are isolated, that is the different teams work in a different division, so that the file-based exchange becomes very tedious. And then, so as I said that at the beginning, this is all leading up to how SolidWorks PDM-based workflow and integration being used for design and data management of electronic and PCB design data. Unlike many customers we have already engaged with, you are probably sitting there thinking to yourself that PDM is for managing parts, assemblies, and along with various files and documents that accompany of mechanical product design. So how can PDM and PDM's workflow integration for PCB design solution and its files and electronic product design, how does it help? Let's see that. So moving on, let's take a closer look at what makes up SolidWorks PCB or the electronic product design projects. For most PCB projects, they are made up of some basic design files and manufacturing documents. You have a master project file that keeps track of all the files and associations related to the project. You have like from 1 to n number of schematic files that define the logical circuit designs. You have a layout file that represents the physical printed circuit board design, and then various forms of manufacturing files and documents. And then lastly, you've got all the library files of logical and physical electronic components used through the project design. So you will boil it all down because all the PCB and the electronic products design sitting on the hardware is a lot of files, or as we come to likely to say, it's a pile of files. Now, of course, SolidWorks PDM manages piles of files, and yes, for all the PDM experts out there, I know I'm grossly oversimplifying that, but whether they be mechanical parts or assembly files, Microsoft Office files, or any other random types of files, since PCB and electronic projects are simply a collection of files, we can use PDM and its extensive capabilities for PCB and electronic project management. We can leverage PDM data management and automation capabilities on those piles of files. We can define a unique data management workflow for electronics and PCB design workflow, and we can develop a bidirectional integration that install with the install of SolidWorks PCB. So now we shall show you all this in action. We're going to talk about two things in particular, and we have divided this intentionally to kind of give you an idea of what works for any PCB design solution, which is what we call PDM based data management workflow, and its applicable and functionality includes creating a project, PCB project, and visibility within the PDM vault and the PDM environment. PCB design and library file management, the versioning of all those managed files, and then the automation through PDM of design and the workflow processes. And then secondly, the PDM PCB connector developed specifically for SolidWorks PCB extends that workflow and the capabilities to also include in tool in bidirectional integration between SolidWorks PCB and and SolidWorks PDM properties and parameter synchronization between the two projects, that is checking, checkout, and archiving, and then the virtual data cards component were used to be able to track all the information being used during the designs. So to get kick-started with the demo, so here we'll see when starting a new project, the ideal methodology we have to be would have to be creating new folders and files in a secure and controlled environment where design files can be accessed and shared by the entire product team. However, in most customers, the same the most customer environments, we found ourselves repeating the same all age-old methodologies with no consistency. Instead, relying on the corporate networks not only slows down the overall PCB design process, but it keeps the electrical engineer team separate and isolated. What we show today is the 3 stages of an ideal design and data management methodologies using SolidWorks PDM. So the first stage is the PCB project configuration and setup using PDM-based file management workflow. This is applicable for any design solution, but will focus on SolidWorks PCB. Starting with PCB projects for file and folder creation, file referencing, link, and data synchronization across all PCB. The second stage is the data synchronization between SolidWorks PCB and PDM with PDM connector, developed specifically for SolidWorks PCB with the extended capabilities to include the project check-in, check-out, archiving properties, and parameter synchronization, component were used, and BOM synchronization. The last stage is the approval and formal sign-off of the electrical product using the automated workflow the capabilities of SolidWorks PDM. SolidWorks PDM, as we all know, helps align company properties and allow the management of the PCB files across the entire organization in a single secure vault. So to start with the vault, so here, as you can see, this is the PDM vault which I have on my local network. So if I have to create the standard formality within the PDM is automatically it generates a consistent file. That is where I can automatically create a new project. That is where I can just go to this option by right-clicking and clicking on a new project. So here I'll be able to create a new SolidWorks PCB project where I'll have to just enter in the project name. So by entering the project name, it will automatically, this is all configured from the set of usable SolidWorks project template files which are stored within the PDM vault. So since the folder is set, it will automatically create that. This radically changes how project structure is created by eliminating all the manual and the tedious tasks of files, folders, and naming conventions of the project creation. So as it creates a new project, just need to open PDM vault, and then so as I said, in the PDM vault we can just right click and create a new project. So based on the template which is being set, we'll be able to create a new project. So here, as you can see, I have created a separate subfolder that is the electrical project, within which, based on the part numbers or the project part numbers, how the company wants to be created, based on that we'll be able to see all the projects which is being created. So now the recently added one is the SW00114. So based on the project name created and based on the templates which is being set, so now you can see all the folders are being created. So as you can see, there is a project and few of the schematic documents in the PCB documents which is created. So if we have to do it manually, like if the PCB designer has to create a particular project, he'll have to add it one by one. So also you can see, you can view the data cards associated with each of the documents over here. Similarly, like with respect to the project, you can see based on that particular schematic, you can enter the project name, what is the project number, division, who has created it, who's the lead engineer, who's the project manager. All this could be entered over here. And also it creates a subfolders like documentation where you can see the fabrication outputs, or in the release you can see the bill of materials and other folders which are required. You can see here, as I told, we can see the assembly and fabrication outputs and the engineering documents. And with the release document, we can see what are all the bill of materials which is generated. All those will be listed under that. So to proceed further, as you can see, with respect to this project, SolidWorks PDM provides us a unique or the very good capability where I can just select the number of documents which is being present and copy it and set it as a reference to the main project. So here I can just copy this particular documents which I want to link with. So it will just process the file. Once it's done, we can just link it to the main project, so that when we try to import that particular file in SolidWorks PCB, we'll be able to get all the files which are referenced to that particular project. So here we have an option called paste as reference. So as soon as we paste it as a reference, all these files will be linked under that project. It's just that I need to just click OK further. And now, as you can see, when I just coming back to the complete project, with respect to the data card, the manual process or the manual methodology or the traditional methodology which we follow is will have to enter the data card informations manually. So here you can see, with respect to the project created, the project name and the project number will be added. Later on, by editing the values, we can just add what exactly is the division and who is the lead engineer, and then we can enter who is the project manager who is responsible. So let me say, and I can enter in all the details with respect to that. It's just that I need to save the title card. Once it is saved, moving into the project, we have few of the schematics and all the details. So when we are doing it manually, we'll have to go to each and every sheet, and then we have to enter in the details in each and every title block. So even here you can see, with respect to other documents, there is no information which is being added. So rather than adding all the details again and again, PDM helps us to modify it and update the values which is being added to that project. So here, as you can see, I can just modify by entering all the details into the data cards, and I can just add values to all the projects, where I can just select in which all the file data cards I want to add, which are all the files which needs to be included, and what are all the values that I want to be reflected in all the other files. I just need to select all those, and I just need to complete the steps, so that with respect to all other projects, it will automatically upgrade with all the information which is being provided. So now you can see in the world, all the information is being added. Now it has finished updating. So just have a quick view on it. I can just get into the project and check whether the values are being updated in all the other files as well. So as you can see here, you can see the values previously was not entered. Now just by modifying, all the values are entered. So the manual process is reduced here. And also we can just have a quick view, like where there is a unique, very good option called where used option. That is with respect to if there any documents or the library files, whatever it may be. If I want to know where exactly that particular folder or file is used, I can just enter the name of those files. So here, let me enter the name. So here, as soon as I enter the project name, I'll be able to see which are all the files which is being added into that. So I can just, as I search, I'll be able to see what are all the files which are linked to that project. And here you can see, when I click on the various option, it will show where exactly this particular schematic document is being added. So here at the bottom, it will just list in which all files it is being used. So here you can see it says it is under the project, or the under the file as W000114 schematic PCB document. So moving further, once after updating everything, the next step which we want to have a look at is, once it is being added, moving on to the SolidWorks PCB. So this is the SolidWorks PCB interface where with the help of SolidWorks PDM integration file setup, I'll be able to install the SolidWorks PDM into the SolidWorks PCB where I can check in, check out, and update the values over here. So let me just open the file directly from the PDM world, which I have already created. I just select the location where I have created the project. With reference to, as I have made use of the option called with the reference of the project file, if we just click on it, the project files which are being used, all those will be added onto the schematic. So it's just that we need to browse the appropriate location and open that particular file and open it. So, which means that not only those who have access to the ECAD tools can enter and modify the data, the other designers, like even the one who are using the PM, they can also access the particular files. That is, if I want to update the data within that SolidWorks PCB, like title blocks, it is difficult for any of the other designers until they have the access to open the ECAD tool. Only then they can enter in all the values. So this unique integration will allow us to select the project once which is being created in the PDM world. We can directly import or open it in the SolidWorks PCB and make necessary changes with the help of this integration. So now let me browse to the project where I have created and opened the project file. So here I'll just open this rangefinder .prj PCB project. So as I said, with reference to the links which is being added, you can see all the projects which being linked to it. And also if I want to just add an existing file to the project, I can just browse to, let me say, I want to add a particular SW the document which is being created, that is the PCB layout document. I want to add it from the which is being created in the PCB vault. I just need to add it. So I'll just browse through the PDM vault and select the appropriate files, and I can add it. So here whatever the newly or the existing files which are being created can also be linked with the help of this option. So both the ways, that is when we create, we can link in the PCB, we can link with that, and also with the PDM. So I can just open that particular document. So once that is being set, all the project files will be in reference with each other. So now you can see each of the project files which are being opened in the SolidWorks PCB. So if I just open this particular schematic, in the title block, you can see there are few like I have set the default title block. So based on the title block and other details which are given in the let's say the PDM what it is being created. So if I can just zoom in, you can see the lead engineer or the project manager who has approved all these details are yeah, blank. So how I can update it is with the help of this PDM options which is available here. I can just check in the data where as I have entered it all the details in the PDM, I can just check in the data with the help of this, where I can just set from which vault I want to get all the details. And now I just need to browse it through the folder where I want to add, that is I am linking it with respect to the same project, where based on the number of sheets, schematic sheets and the PCB sheets which is being added, it will automatically create a zip file and act as a backup, and it will be stored in the PDM vault. So again, you need not create a zip file in the SolidWorks PCB to have the backup of all those files. Rather, it manages all the data within that particular project. So once it's done, it will just ask what are all the details which is being added. So it's just that we need to select which all files we need to add it. So here you can see what are all the files which we need to add. Once I add it, it will just add or check in all those files here and get the details onto the title block. So it's very simple, where once we update all the data in the PDM vault, all the informations will be check in over here. So now you can see, since I have not created or generated the output files, it's showing that this particular, you can see now the lead engineer, who's the project manager, and who has uploaded all these details are being updated in the SolidWorks PCB title template. So it's just not one single schematic document, it is being created in rest of the document as well. So now once it's done, we can just move on to the next step, where library component. So now you can see in all the rest of the title blocks also, we have got the inputs which is being added. So the manual process of adding, going to each and every title block, updating the information, all this tedious process will be reduced over here. So, since we know that most of the electronic designers will completely rely on the library components, it is important to manage the SolidWorks PCB libraries as well. That is, the designer can, as we can see, there is a separate folder where we can create the SolidWorks PCB library parts, which we can dump into it, where we can see list of all the components. Let's say I'll just have a quick view into this LED type. So here, if I have to just have a quick view on this, it will also give me, based on this particular file which is being selected, it will just show us where exactly the particular values is being added, and also we can see the notifications as well. So in the data card also, we'll be able to see what is the part category, part description, which is a footprint which is linked to it, who is the supplier, who has created it, all the information could be added, along with the stock price, manufacturer part number, supplier part number, everything will be seen over here. So like this, with the help of this where used option, you can see how many quantity, what is the cost and category updated in the various options as well. So moving back to PCB, so as that was the initial process of just checking in the project files into the PDM. I'll just set the comment as initial check-in. So as soon as I check in, as I told, it will create a .cvd and a PDF or a zip file of all the project documents which is available as a backup. So once that is being added, all both the PCB and the PDM documents will be intact with each other. So there's no data loss, or there's no missing of file versioning and other things. So let me just quickly generate the outputs. So let's say I want to generate few of the output files over here. So I'll just select which are all the output files which are required for me. So based on that, I'll just check in and generate all the files to have a look at how these files will be added to the PDM vault as soon as we check in, and how the final release and other things will be carried out. So as we see here, just to have a quick look at it. So moving back to the project, in the release, since we set the folder to the release where this particular project was being created, so in the release we'll have all the bill of materials, and also the zip file which is created. So we can also link it to values where exactly this particular document is being used. All those could be seen. So here you can see, with respect to this particular project, there is a separate subfolders which is automatically created based on the folder or the template card which is set. So here you can see in the preview, you can see this particular, what are all the folders which are listed under this .pcb zip file, which acts as the backup file. So here you can see which are all the project documents which are added, what are all the files, all this information could be seen. So as I told here, to generate the PCB files, I'll just select or add few of them. that needs to be generated. So let it generate as we just have a look at other documents. So now, as I told, we have all the zip folders and also the bill of materials with respect to this project is being added. So now here you can see what are all the bill of materials. You can like not only the SolidWorks or PCB or an electronic designer will know where exactly this project or what exactly are the bill of material details would be seen, but also the fabrication designers can also view the bill of materials, like what are all the components which are used. So here you can just set it to the SolidWorks PCB BOM, where you can see all list of all the PCB part numbers or the library components which are added to this particular project, with what is the manufacturer part number, supplier number, if entered in the that particular data card information. So all this will be reflected. So once this files is being generated, so I just need to save this output job files to with respect to that project, where once the process is being passed, it will just add all those files onto the PCB project. So once all these files are being added, it's just that we need to check in saying that complete design is being done, and also find all the bill of materials, updated bill of materials, or the fabrication outputs with respect to the project. So it's just that we create the project, we complete the design process, then checking the data so that all the library components and all the list will be updated. Also, it will be managed based on the version. What are all the versions based on the check-in, check-out process which is being carried out. Then, as I told, once after looking at the outputs, you can each and every time you add the details or the data, or all the notifications will be seen here, like whether whatever the changes will be made, all the informations will be tracked over here. So coming back to this particular project, once the output files is being generated, it's just that as I told, all those will be listed under the outputs options, which is available here. Just a second, it's still generating the output files based on the designs or based on the project file which is being selected. Once it's done, we just need to check in and notify the users. So once after the final drawings is being released, so in this output job files, we'll be able to see all the project documents which are done. I think it's almost generated. Once the status is turned to pass, we can just carry out with the next process. So like this way, creating all the files based on the version, based on the revisions, automatically it will get updated in the PDM, where the designer can also view the history, like who is very new to the team. If he wants to understand what are all the design process which are being carried, he can just have a look at what are all the versions, or what are all the outputs which are being generated. All those could be seen. So just a few seconds left. So here, if I want to have the history view of it, I can just select the particular document and look for the history, like where what are all the details of like what are all the revisions, or what are all the versionings which are done with respect to that particular schematic. All those will be viewed here. So here you can see what are the events which are being added, who has created it, what are the initial transitions which are taking place. All those could be seen here. After getting the final release outputs like Gerber files and NC drill files and all the project files, what I've done is I've just checked in from the PCB, where I've just given the information saying it is ready for final release. And then in the vault, what I have done is with respect to the project which I've created, have just notified it to the admin. Whoever is the admin for this project, have just told him that I have asked him to review the project files, as I have to share it to the final release. And then to the concerned person, whoever is the manager, I can just submit the same, saying that please check for the reviewer, or please approve the final release. Once that is being approved, automatically, as you can see, I had not given any revision for that particular project. Automatically it will set the revision based on which you can also view the history of it. That is, what are all the transitions, or what are all the steps which are taken care, all those could be seen. So here you can see first the project was created, then checked in, where it was under editing, where the designer was creating it, and then from once the complete design was done with the final outputs, he has checked in again. And once the check-in is done from the designer for the final release, automatically the revision gets changed. And also you can see the versions with which the designers is also working with. So like this, we can get the history of the complete designs, due to which the complete workflow could be completely seen. That is, SolidWorks PDB manages our electrical data across entire organization in a secure environment and with highly integrated SolidWorks PCB, providing greater control and enabling collaborators and collaboration between the different key stakeholders. So to continue with the presentation, so since we saw the complete workflow, like how the design was completed, as we all saw this, at last I would like to just give a quick summary before I conclude this webinar. So one of the value and benefits to this is having this electronic design and data integrated within a company-wide common data management system. A couple of people have said that they have Subversion for their data management, whether it comes with SolidWorks PCB or any other tool. They happen to have acquired it through different means, and they still believe in an integral part to this. And we may have time to go into that level of detail on this, but that Subversion usage is still integral part of this. But still having that data accessible by anybody within the company using PDM is still a value and benefit over having something external, especially using Windows File Explorer for doing the data management. So as we saw, PDM has a lot of power and capabilities to keep track of not only the files themselves in the file versions, which yes, you could technically do with a commercial application by having that within the PDM environment, so that your bill of materials for your procurement team or the board fabrication, board assembly, for mechanical team, or case the latest version being referenced by the PCB designer. You'll have this insight visibility into what is the latest version, and the greatest thing is you'll know what is the revision which is taken, what is the version which is the appropriate file that needs to be used at any given time, without having sending mails and ask questions and go to the shared network drive, and this is the last one, and who updated it last, and who has the control over it, etc., could be managed. And at last, this is really a benefit to a lot of customers that we have been engaged with, again, to have that common company-wide design data management solution, having everybody have access to all the same set of files and be able to access data at any time, and not have to know where on the network it happens to be, or if somebody is managing their ECAD data on their laptop, what if they went home, which is now required. So with all this, I would like to conclude the webinar session. We saw based on the PCB PDM integration, how helpful it would be. Thank you all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for attending the webinar.